Hello, FlossTube. I'm Sarah, and it's a short adventure of being Sarah, because this is part one of a two-part before and after for the Bendy Stitchy Birthday SAL. Michelle, Bendy Stitchy's birthday is, I think, Sunday, and she is doing a birthday SAL for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so, of course, I like birthday SALs, and I found a good project for it. And it's also something that has bothered me for nearly 10 years. So I figured, hey, I've been collecting the parts to do the thing, and I've been complaining about the thing for almost a decade, and this fits all the boxes, whatever, of the Bendy Stitchy Birthday SAL, so hashtag BS Birthday SAL. I actually finally did get an Insta. I wasn't going to because you can't really use it on the computer, and I don't have a smartphone. My phone is definitely not smart, and I don't want a smartphone. But I got a Kindle Fire recently because I was thinking it might be useful for Mysticon, and then I just didn't really have time to play around with it and transfer things over and whatever. So I took my my laptop to Mysticon, where I got to jam 3 game sessions, and there were people at each one. It was awesome. And at least one person came back from the second one to the third one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome! And so back to the tablet. So I was like, oh, I can do Instagram now. I just haven't played around with it. So I have like a grand total of 1 picture on there so far. And that was my start or first day or whatever of the new Ingleside Imaginarium stitch along, which I finished that part. It's called Tooth and Claw, and it's a crown. And then there's going to be 8 representations of the house sigils for Game of Thrones. They kind of look like the Buyer Tapestry, that one that showed the Normans conquering England in 1066. I think it looks really cool. I can't wait to see them all. But I've already done that, so that's not part of this. So the stitch along runs the 8th, the 9th, and 10th. The 8th, you're supposed to pick something that has to do with the letter B for Bendy. So it could be, I was thinking, oh, I should do Mice Babies, because the quilt that I had started, which I know I'm really far behind with my update video, and it's going to be a long one. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but probably not this weekend. Anyway, so I was thinking Mice Babies, because B for babies, Mice Babies quilt, which was one of my unicorns. But I was just like, I really don't feel like working on that right now. And so then I'm like, I'm not really sure what I should do for S, because that's the second day, which is the 9th, which is Saturday, for S for Stitchy. And I was like, well, I could work on Tanith, and I kind of do still want to work on Tanith, because her married name is Solarion. That starts with S, and she's a sorceress. But I'm like, I don't know. And then the third day, which is the 10th, Michelle said to do something that reminds you of her, or something that is gift related, because she's all about the stitchy kindness, or she said something that's just BS. And I was like, man, I don't know what. Oh wait, I was going to work on the Celtic or Gaelic Kiss My Sit Upon that I'm stitching for my mom. Yeah, my mom, I showed her this, and I was like, do you know what that means? And she's like, no. And I was like, I explained it to her, and she started laughing. She laughed her sit upon off. And then she showed my aunts, who both appreciate that particular sentiment, and they were like, I want one. And then one of my aunts was like, I want the one that's the sparkly fabric she's stitching on. So I got 2 more pieces, and so I'm going to stitch them, and Mom gets to decide who gets what. But I was like, because, that's for a gift. Technically, if I started the other two, they would also be gifts. But then I'm like, I don't know if I really feel like working on that. And then I figured out something, as I said, that I've been wanting to restitch for almost a decade now. And it ticks all the boxes. For B, it's got, sorry, my brain just went, oh, I had reasons. But for B, there's bling, because it uses blending filament, which I have right here, actually. And if you're counting, yes, that's 7 spools of blending filament that I had to get from the 123 Stitch, because 7. There's also blues in there, in some of it. I have my fabric over on the other side. I didn't feel like getting up. This is not all for this particular stitch along. We do have blues. Some of this is for the tooth and claw, because I went with a 25% off the entire thing coupon to AC Moore. I'm like, ooh, I'll get them. Hold please, I just dropped it. Yeah, I bumped the Ottoman rocker thingy that this was lying on, that the pattern leaflet was lying on, and it just went, because it's shiny. And so I'll put that over here on the bed, so that way I'm not touching it and fiddling with it. And anyway, so on Wednesday I had gone to AC Moore with my 25% off everything coupon, because 25% off the flosses, yay. I had also restocked on yarn because I've been working on bears like mad. You can see a bag over here that has the start of a bear, this interesting yarn. It'll be a cream colored bear with this sort of, I don't know how to describe this. They call it cottage blue mix. I don't know. It's kind of neat, and it's got like sage green and tan and things like that. Anyway, so that's what's in there. I also have patterns and projects and things like that, which I'm not going to show you now. Anyway, so it's got blue, it's got bling, and there's, you could call the thing that is in the middle a bauble. It's also a crystal ball. So we got bees all over the place with this. Okay, and then for the S, we have sparkle, because blending filament, and also Michelle Bendy brings sparkle joy to FlossTube with her Stitchy kindness, which is just a side effect. Hey, there's another S. And then there's one of the beings in this picture is, it looks like a suitor to the other one, so S for suitor. I know, I may be reaching, but hey, this is... And then for the third day, which is BS and or reminds you of Michelle, or was or is or whatever a gift. This pattern has a long history for me, because, okay, oh, and another S, which I just remembered, it's of a pair of dragons. Dragons like shiny things. So we got shiny S. It's 2 dragons, and one is holding a crystal ball, giving it to the other one. And that project is on a black sweatshirt, and which you should have seen by the thumbnail what it already is, which you'll see in a minute or so. But I told my mom that I wanted to stitch this, so she got me the pattern and the sweatshirt, etc., etc. So that was a gift to me. And then I had never worked with blending filament, so I started stitching it and I realized I didn't have the right amount of number of strands of floss and number of strands of blending filament, and by that time, because it didn't look like the picture, it looked way too thin. And by that time, I know I had miscounted. I had felt like it did so much. I got so disgusted with it, I just threw it in the closet. That was my knee needle, so I just hit. I threw it in the closet over there and just left it for a decade, and then eventually I tossed it, because this was middle school, high school, somewhere in there. And then years later, my friend and his ex-wife had gotten a house, and they were so excited because they had this like screened in, or not screened in, like walled in. The previous owners had turned the porch area into a closed-in little room with washer dryer at one end. It was a very narrow room, but it was a long room because it was like practically the width of the house. And they decided that they were going to turn it into a gaming room, which was really cool. Although it was super cold in winter, so not fun to play in during the winter. But the rest of the time it was nice. And so they decorated it with like all kinds of nerd stuff. And me being me, I was like, oh, these are really good friends of mine. I'm going to stitch them something. So I'm like, well, you should do something with dragons for D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. And so I had several different pieces that I could have picked from, and I went with the one that I had started for the sweatshirt that I chucked and never finished. I was like, I'm going to finish that one. It took me about, I think, 5 months and 7 spools of blending filament, and I got it done. I took it with me to Louisiana on a mission trip, and stitched on it. I wouldn't let them see it, and then I even got it framed for them. And then they did not stay married, and I was accused of horrible things by the ex-friend, who was an ex-friend for that reason, which I won't go into, but it was very unpleasant. We'll just put it that way. And when he moved out of the place that they were renting, I don't know what happened to that picture, and it's always kind of bothered me. But I still have the pattern. So I'm like, I could always do it again. There's another pattern that goes with that, which is a single dragon. I was like, I'll do the single dragon for B. But I haven't gotten around to that either. They use the same colors, etc. So I imagine I would probably need another 7 spools of blending filament, because it's a comparable size. But it just really got to bothering me lately. I was like, you know what? I really should just restart this one again. Like, just stitch it again, but keep it this time. And I was like, do I do this on Aida? Do I do this on even weave? Do I stay with black because it's done on black fabric? See, at least the model is, because it's a black sweatshirt, and the picture for the other one is on black, and it really does pop on that. And so I had gone to Joann's, and I tried to get black Aida there because it was cheaper than AC Moore, and they had none left. They had one or two or something like that of navy blue, and I got so angry, and I just left without getting anything. And then I thought about it, and I was like, so I asked the boyfriend, like, so do you think I should stitch this on black or on navy blue? And he's like, well, I like the black, which is what I was, leaning towards. And it's like, well, gee, I need to stitch everything that I want to stitch on black now, because it's getting harder to do so. Because getting older is not for the faint of heart. These are harder to see on black fabric. But I have my nifty little Luminolite. It goes everywhere. It went with me to Mysticon because I was working on the Jewel Bakken on black fabric. Yeah, that was interesting. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, that'll work. And so then I realized that this is a good excuse and reason to start it, and it fits all the boxes. Plus, the specific leaflet that I have right here was actually also a gift from one of the local stitcher groups that we meet like once a month. It's like the Roanoke and surrounding areas, which is a little broader than just surrounding areas. It's several hours away, but still, lovely ladies. I'm so glad that one of the members, we had become friends on Facebook, and she invited me to this meeting, and so I've been going ever since, or trying to go every month. Sometimes it's out of town, sometimes I just can't make it. But, we go and we find a place to eat, and, well, I mean, it's pre-planned, but we go to a place to eat and then we stitch for hours and chat and things like that. And it's a lot of fun. So, one of them I can't remember which meeting, it was sometime last year, she had brought this particular pattern with her, and what we'll do is we'll be like, hey, I'm not going to stitch this pattern, does anybody want it? And then patterns get passed around, people pick what they want, and other people bring stuff, etc. I have a thing of patterns that I've been meaning to take, and I keep forgetting, and there was one that I was like, I'm not going to ever do this, and it's of this mermaid. I'm like, well, now you really should stitch it because it reminds you of McKenna, so you really should. And now, of course, I'm not sure where I put it. Really? So, so she gifted me this pattern, the lady at the Roanoke Stitcher thing. So this pattern is also a gift. And what is it? After much ado, of almost 17 minutes. See, here's the single dragon that I was eventually wanting to stitch, and then this is the troublesome one. This one right here. See, it's got the bauble, the crystal ball, and the suitor is giving it to his mate. I think it's a he. Well, the one is giving it to the other. It's really pretty, and it's absolutely stunning when it's done with the 7 spools of blending filament. But yes. So, even though it's almost 11, it will still count for day 1 of the birthday SAL. I will try to update the stuffs on the Instagram, etc., etc., and then I will actually film, well, probably Sunday night, because I was going to say it might be Monday, but no, I can still film on Sunday, because we've got the GURPS game. This campaign we're in Musketeer, France, undercover, and my character, who is not the most subtle of beings, is somehow in charge. This is the character that decided the optimum plan to deal with the drug ring in the last campaign she was in was, we know where the warehouse is, just burn it down. That'll solve everything. And they went with her plan. I don't know how, but hey. And so this one, she's like, well, if we know, okay, so we have to do things in a cell. Why can't we just go? We know who the bad guy is. Just off him. But this is her. So not the most subtle of characters. But so I was expecting that. Not expecting. I was thinking, oh, I won't have time to film, and I'm like, wait a minute. You guys get done about 6 o'clock. You'll have time to film. You'll have time to stitch. Even after the game. Because usually I prefer to take a bear to work on, and that sort of thing. But yes, I am very much looking forward to seeing how much I can get done. And I would love to get this done and finally done and stitched, and so I don't have to wonder what happened to it. So yeah. So happy birthday, Michelle. I found a project that will work for all of it, and you're great excuse for me to finally get something that has been bothering me, because that whole BS. You're helping me by encouraging me by having this birthday sale. So yay! So I'll see you for part 2. Sorry about the rambling, but okay, bye.